Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today I want to speak on a topic that's about a week and a half old now, somewhere around there. Last about 2 weekends ago, um, Vice released an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, recounting the plane flight from hell. This is an incident that many wrestling fans and people within the business are well aware of, though the details weren't always circulated well. Well, it was documented in this episode by Vice on Dark Side of the Ring. And it covers some of the things that went down. Yeah. And high school boys' locker room is all I can really say. That's what it makes me think of. For one, um, Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect, and Brock Lesnar got into a bit of a scuffle while the plane was still in the air. And they endangered lives because they could have, if they had hit things wrong, they could have knocked off the safety door, and all of a sudden, yeah, you're losing pressure, right? And at that point, you're over the Atlantic. Where are you going to ditch? Where are you going to try to land? All you've got is ocean. That's just one example of things that happened. Drug use. Oh, the drug use. They talked about um, slipping things in people's drinks that knocked them out cold. Someone even did that to Michael P.S. Hayes and cut off his ponytail while he was knocked out. Scott Hall, which, if you know his history, he's had drug issues. They're well documented. But apparently he got a little. No, no little. He got a lot intoxicated that he passed out. And when he was awake, he couldn't remember what he'd done because apparently he grabbed a flight attendant and threatened to lick her. Yeah. This is why he's still so far under the influence and everything, so. Dustin Rhodes was more that he was struggling with his recent divorce from Terry Runnels, which she was on the plane with him because she still worked for the WWE. But it caused him to do a few crazy things, to drink a lot, and he got on the speaker and tried to sing a song to serenade her, you know, and yeah. So a lot of his was, you know, depression and drug induced behavior. And then perhaps the most egregious was the behavior of Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. As a wrestler, he would always strut around in his robe and woo! So apparently, something he tended to do is take all his clothes off, like when he was in the locker room, or, you know, something like that, to wear, and only thing he'd wear was his robe and do his struts. Woo! Just very ridiculous stuff. And again, like I was saying, it is what the whole thing puts me in mind of is a high school boys' locker room. But while he was doing this, he did a helicopter where he basically moved his hips so his penis would swing around like a helicopter blade. Um, but yeah, supposedly this is not really confirmed, or this is only confirmed by a um, stewardess and Rob Van Dam, but denied by Flair. Of course, because what Flair ended up doing was, while he was doing this in only his robe and helicoptering, he confronted this one stewardess and made her touch him. I don't know if it was on the penis or it was on the chest, whatever. But clearly, a form of extreme sexual harassment, bordering on sexual assault, and made her feel highly uncomfortable. What Flair did was wrong, but again, you have to understand the man's 72 now. He comes from an era when this was not that unusual of a thing. I'm not making excuses for him, but Yeah, 72. That would put him in the 19. He'd be born in the 1950s, maybe 49, something like that. Yeah, probably about 1949. So yeah, it's that. Think of the show Mad Men, if you've ever seen it. It's very similar to about that time frame because you're post World War II. America's supposed to be in its growth and its heyday, but there was still this attitude, this feeling. And so again, you know, you have to remember he grew up in that era, 1950s, early 60s. America felt like it could do no wrong. Very male dominated. But yeah, some wrestlers have suffered fallout from this, from the episode airing. One, of course, is Ric Flair, because he had a long and storied career, and all of a sudden, this hurts him severely and puts a dark, dark shiner on his life and career. And the other, Tommy Dreamer, who, while he did nothing that we can really detest on the flight or that we're aware of, his defenses of Flair and some others and saying people just get mad at whatever nowadays have made some people squirm a bit. And so the wrestling organization he was working for when this came out has suspended him. Yeah. Uh it's pretty bad knowing everything we know. I mean, this has been talked about for a while, the plane ride from hell, but of course, like I said, the details weren't always made crystal clear. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that, kind of deliver my thoughts on it, which knowing the history of some of these guys, I mean, there's always been issues of drug use, and it's been a very male dominated sport. So some of this behavior, I'm not all that surprised at. Especially, as I said, with Flair, he was from the 1950s and 60s, was when his youth was. And so He was used to cutting the rug and cutting these antics, and like I said, very high school boys locker room. But yeah, you can watch the show. There's lots of other organizations that or a lot of other outlets that have already talked about it. But yeah, it's as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next episode. Until then, later.